The Viet Cong today get their most sophisticated weapons from the communist countries, but a dud U.S. bomb is a gift from heaven. The bomb is defused. The steel casing is used to make shrapnel. The TNT is carefully collected. It will be used for grenades, mines, and mortar shells. A discarded tin can is filled with TNT and pieces of metal and glass. It is then set into the ground and camouflaged, a homemade mine. Some of these mines will explode when a tripwire is kicked. Some will explode on contact. The Viet Cong have also dug into their own Vietnamese history. They have rediscovered traditional weapons that were used against enemies of the past. A kicked tripwire can drop a wasp's nest on your head. This arsenal may be old-fashioned, but it's lethal. A tiger trap for men. These razor-sharp spikes of bamboo are often poisoned with human feces. These punji sticks are so dangerous that all American combat boots now have soles lined with steel. Their strategy calls for constant sabotage, and their sabotage is selective. The Viet Cong study their targets in miniature. Planning can take weeks, sometimes months. The explosives are prepared. Bridges, buildings, roads, tanks, convoys. Everything that's American or South Vietnamese is a likely target. Reconnaissance finds the railroad bridge unguarded. The result is predictable. Not a railroad in South Vietnam operates for long. The Viet Cong have seen to that. An ambush, an act of war in which the guerrillas excel. The targets here are tanks and armored personnel carriers manned by South Vietnamese troops. From out of the jungle, a sudden barrage of Viet Cong firepower, followed by the Viet Cong. This film comes from communist sources. It is the kind of combat film that the VC show to their new recruits for morale purposes. It's all part of what the Viet Cong call the 4 quicks and a slow. The quicks are advance, assault, clear the battlefield, and withdraw. The 1 slow is preparation, like ambushing this column of tanks and blowing the bridge. The quick withdrawal is often total disappearance. This is a carefully camouflaged doorway leading into a network of tunnels that the Viet Cong have dug throughout South Vietnam. You will notice that some of the Viet Cong are women. The VC regard women as equals, and as equals, they fight. The tunnels enable the VC to disappear in the midst of a battle and to reappear when the killing looks good. This is a typical Viet Cong tunnel complex, dug more than 25 feet below an ordinary Vietnamese village. Below ground, some rooms are as large as a living room. They may house a hospital, a small weapons factory. Above ground, there is an early warning system. The tunnels have several entrances. Below the surface of a pond, under a hut floor, under an animal pen, a well, a haystack. The Viet Cong can go in one entrance, exit 1.5 miles away.
Some of the most extensive tunnels have been dug at Cu Chi, 25 miles northwest of Saigon. That led to the formation of an American volunteer unit called the Tunnel Rats. Their assignment was to hunt the enemy underground. This tunnel war was not widely reported at the time, but 10 years after the war, Morley Safer interviewed some veteran tunnel rats.
It was you versus the enemy.
And you had to go in head first, correct?
Right.
Oh, yes.
Always.
Never feet first anywhere.
Risky business, Marlon.
So you had to have somebody on your feet when you went through.
Always went in with your hands out in front of you, too, because if you got your arms trapped to your side, you were stuck there. You were just there, period. If you didn't get your arms through first, you couldn't get out.
What did you find, apart from Viet Cong, what did you find down there?
I came across one time a tripwire that was located in the tunnel, and it led to a box that was at the side of the tunnel that had been carved out, and in that box was about 10 or 15 very angry scorpion spiders. There was a bamboo snake. We found this a couple of times where they actually had the snake tied to a piece of bamboo that was stuck into the top of a tunnel. It's probably been tied up there for 3 or 4 days, and that viper will strike at whatever comes through.
You used to go down there alone.
Right, sir. I used to go there alone.
Why?
I was trying to show them in a way that by me being alone, that I was not afraid of them. I was not afraid at all. They didn't scare me one bit.
You would be amazed at just how sharp your senses become when you're in that tunnel. Your sense of hearing is so acute. You could hear, if there was someone else in the tunnel, you could hear him breathing. And you would be able to hear whether he was crawling towards you or away from you.
Or he had weapons.
And if you heard someone crawling, hopefully he was crawling away from you.
But there was barely room for your shoulders. You couldn't get, there was no room to maneuver.
That's right.
Absolutely not.
That's right.
No room to maneuver. If you came under fire, it's like you're in a shooting gallery. There's no place for you to go.
Tell me, when you flushed out a tunnel, took prisoners, killed some people, was that the end of the active life of that tunnel?
You only owned that piece of ground while you stood on it. As soon as you moved out of the area, Charlie moved right back into it. That was this type of war.